Lecture 8 is broken up into two parts. We're going to do 8A today, we'll do 8B tomorrow. And then we are done with this particular. So you have an exam, Cassidy, you have an exam next Thursday. So counting today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 class periods and then it's exam. Lots of time. Lecture 8A. Okay, and lecture 8A is dealing with, I can't read my handwriting. Oh, equations of lines. And then lecture 8B is going to be equations of circles. And then we're going to learn a really good challenge, and then we're going to be done. Okay, so equations of lines. By the way, how was your weekend?
Really good. Yeah.
You did what?
I have 1 day of freedom.
1 day of freedom?
That's Saturday I was Christmas.
No day of freedom. What you have to do on Saturday?
Chair, I have to do like the main chair thing on Saturday. Then I have to go like to the Saturday.
Is it like an all-day thing? I'm very sorry. I did nothing on Saturday. No, I did something. Took a bike ride. Went to the trail. Went back. I watched the soccer game.
That's fun. That's fun.
I watched Halloween.
Sorry?
I watched Halloween.
You watched what?
Halloween.
Oh, scary.
No, because we always go to try to watch those at night, and then we're all tired because we all have bedtimes of like 8-year-old women. So we're like, okay, it's time for bed. I'm like halfway through Smile, and I'm like, okay, bedtime.
Smiles movie.
Yeah, it's a horror
Can you go over the schedule for tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow, yes. So you're going to go to first hour, and then there's going to be like an hour advisory, and then you're going to go to fifth, and then you're going to go to third and seventh.
Wait, hold on. I spaced out. Go through it.
I tell you
What's
what,
tomorrow?
let me go through this, and then I can write it on the board later.
Okay. Why is
I
the
have it in an
schedule
email
weird?
somewhere, but we're having an elongated advisory because of SOS Day,
What's SOS?
What?
signs of suicide, suicide
Oh,
awareness.
that's
I have a bond in my advisory. Last time I've done it, you can't take it seriously.
Okay, be careful because we're recording. So be careful what you say.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, I don't think that's, no, like.
I mean, I'm not going to
Okay, so good question. I forgot to put that on. Normally I try to write it up here, but I didn't get that down. I'll get that down today. So tomorrow, at least tomorrow morning when you come in, you'll see it after the fact. Because I'll see you tomorrow.
Dude, your fancy thing was
Oh my goodness, we're off on the topic. I am up by 18 points. He has his kicker, Harrison Butker, and I have my defensive lineman, Chris Jones, and my defensive back, not defensive back, linebacker, Drew Tranquil. So I'm up by 18. His kicker's not going to score 18 points. So.
I mean, unless he has another one of those games.
Which means I will be 4-1 and I will be second out of 12 in my fantasy.
Hot dog.
Lost my first one to do
Alright, which game was that? The first and second meeting, we had all field, we had like 6.
Cassidy, any other topics we can be at a little rabbit trail on before
Or
we
hit
start?
3,
No, you good?
Like 40, 50 yards.
All right, here we go. So equation of
I
lines.
forget which game.
Okay, so the first thing we have to go back and review two things. We kind of mentioned them to you the other day, but that is those two weird words. Okay, so the first thing is, what about a vertical line? What's unique about a vertical line? They don't say it's vertical. Yes,
It goes up.
besides that.
Oh.
It just goes in, well, never mind.
So, yes.
I mean, since it's like vertical, right? So does it not have like a very clear equation? Because we talked about how it can't have two y points, but that's all the same one point, or
Okay,
not
so-
yx.
Yeah, so we have issues because it is a vertical line, which means it's not a Starts with F.
Function.
Function.
Oh,
So it's the only line that's not a function. And that's because it is straight up and down, and we have a whole bunch of one x value, but a whole bunch of y values. So our change in y is going to be some value, but my change in x is going to be 0. So while change of y will be indefinite over and over and over, up and down the y-axis, my change in x is 0, therefore we have an undefined slope. So the slope is going to be undefined. Now on the last class we had Thursday, I gave you those two funky words. You remember what word went with vertical? Vux. V-U-X.
And,
So,
Hoy.
and hoy and vux. So vux is vertical, it's V for vertical. U stands for undefined slope. And then going back to what Emma was saying, x is my equation. So I will have something like x equals 2 or x equals some value a. So let's say I had x equals 2. Well, x equals 2, doesn't matter what the y is. X is always 2. X can be a 10. I'm sorry, y can be 10, x is 2. Y can be negative 5, x is still 2. So it's going to be a vertical line. And the equation is going to say x equals something.
Which one, the VUX, what does X mean again?
That's the equation, so x equals a value. X equals 5, x equals 2, x equals a number. That's what the equation is. So we have the description, it's vertical, we have its slope undefined, and we have its equation, x is going to equal a value. And then vertical is the only line, only linear, that's not a function. Everything else is a function. All right, so if we have vertical, Roman numeral 2, we also have horizontal. Okay, and you already gave me the word for that, hoy, correct? Okay, so the H stands for horizontal. What does the O stand for? I'll give you a hint. It's not really an O, it's a 0.
Origin?
No.
What sign?
What's that? It's a 0 slope. So horizontal is going to look like this. So the slope is going to be 0. Okay? So it's horizontal, the slope is 0, and then you're going to have y equals something. Like y equals 3. So if you look at an xy axis, I would have y equals 1, y equals 2, y equals 3. And then it doesn't matter what x is. X could be 10, y is 3. X could be 0, y is 3. X could be negative 5, y is 3. So I have a constant horizontal line. Oh, that's what it was. So change in y over the change in x. Y never changes, but x does. So it's 0 over something, 0 over 5, 0 over 10. So it's just simply 0, slope is 0. Hoy and vux, good at those two? Is this one a function?
Yeah.
Absolutely, vertical line test. That passes the vertical line test. Is it a one-to-one function?
Yes. No, I just guess.
It's a good guess. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, right? Flip a coin. No, because it fails the horizontal line test. All right. Roman numeral 3. 3 equations dealing with lines. Let's start off with the absolute 100% most famous equation dealing with lines. Anyone tell me what it is? You learned it in Algebra 1. Not that one.
Y equals.
That one.
Y equals
Half of
7.
X?
That's for
No. What'd you say?
y times x or something.
Y equals what? Most famous linear. There you go. Y equals mx
That's what I said. I just
plus b, where we call this the slope-intercept form, correct? The slope-intercept form. So m is my slope, b is my y-intercept, and what is this equation really, really good for? What's that? Not really finding the slope, not really. I mean, you can look at it and tell what the slope is. You can look at it and tell what the y-intercept is. This is actually used best for graphing. Okay? Let's review graphing using slope-intercept form real quick. Okay? So someone give me a equation of slope-intercept form. Don't make it super hard, make it easy. Give me an equation. What did you say? 2468. Who did we appreciate? Or just Mr. Phil? No, I did it in y equals mx plus b form. Y equals.
So do you just want us to plug in numbers?
Yes, y equals, give me a number.
4.
Oh my goodness, 4x plus what? 2. It could have been negative numbers. You could have said -2. You could have said a fraction, 4/5. We have y equals 4x plus 2. So in this case, we know by looking at it that the slope is 4. But when we look at slope, it's best to think of it as a fraction, right? So I'm going to think of it as 4/1. And then my y-intercept is going to be 2. Okay. So, sketch a little graph. Let's do one more. So where am I going to start? Where's my starting point?
2.
Say it again.
2.
2, my y-intercept. That's a absolute place. I know exactly where it is. My y-intercept is going to be right there on the y-axis. Okay. How do I find the next point on the graph?
Plug in up 1.
I don't need to plug it in there. What's that?
Up 1.
Up, how many?
Oh, 4.
I have a change in y is 4 with a change in x of 1.
rise over run.
So I go up
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1. Or I could go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1 this way. And you have those stair steps over 1 up 4. Over 1 up 4. And that gives my slope. So then really, how many points do you need to draw a straight line?
2.
You just need 2 points. Once I have those 2 points, I can sketch my straight line. As we talked about before, every point on that graph is going to satisfy this equation. Every single one of these points. All the decimals, all the fractions, everything in between are going to make this equation true. Slope-intercept form. How many of you remember slope-intercept form? It's not really helping me out here. There's like lots of things. Is your hand up? Yeah. Okay. Your hands down? That's not. What'd you say? What?
I couldn't hear what you said.
Slope-intercept. How many of you remember that form?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Outstanding. Letter B. So y equals mx plus b is the most important form, or one that you've learned the earliest. There's 2 others. They're actually related. One of them is, I think you were trying to say this earlier, m equals the slope formula. Did we not give this to you earlier? What does slope equal? Rise over run. Give me 2 in formula form. Change in x over change in y. Or we could say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
So it's just more complicated rise over run.
Change in y over the change in x. What'd you say?
So it's just kind of like a more complicated rise over run.
Not more complicated, it's just how you would actually find it.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we actually did this formula, right? Found out how to do it with 2 points and so forth. All right, let's do a little bit of algebra, okay? Are you ready? I'm going to go and erase this, change it one, change it. Let's go ahead and do just a little bit of algebra, see what color should we use? You said red? I heard red. So let's take both sides of this equation and let's multiply by x2 minus x1. Or whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other, correct? Okay? So on this side, what happens to the x2 minus x1? Why?
The center.
Why do they cancel?
Because of 1.
Because you have one on top, one on bottom, right? Okay. So I'm left with y2 minus y1. Oops, that should be, I always do that. y2 minus y sub 1. Now on this side, I'm going to rearrange them. It's going to be m times x2 minus x1. Now, just to keep this standardized like all of our textbooks, I'm simply going to switch sides of the equal sign. Okay? So I'm going to put y2 minus y1 on this side. And on this side, I'm going to put m times x2 minus x1. And that's letter C. And we call this point slope form. Because just like with slope intercept, all I need is a slope and an intercept. With point slope form, all I need is a point and slope. Okay? And it doesn't matter what the point is. With y-intercept, it has to be a very specific one. It has to be the y-intercept. With this one, it can be any point.
Wait, so like, why would you do this and not that?
Why would I do what?
Or, like, why would you do all that work to flip it into that?
Very good question. So let's go ahead and take an example. Y minus y sub 1 equals mx minus x sub 1. I just kind of took off the 2's. Okay. So let's say we have a point 2, 4, and let's say we have m equals, give me a slope, 1/2, I'll say. And the problem's going to say, what is the equation of the line? Okay. All you have to do is plug it. Okay. So I have y minus equals x minus. And what's going to plug into those boxes? What's going to go with y? What do you suppose? Why the 4?
It's the y.
It's the y value. So 4 is going to go here. What's supposed to go with the x?
2.
2.
And then we have my slope is 1/2. And now I have the equation of the line. And I have an equation of 1. So we use point slope so slope intercept is really good for graphing. Point slope is really good for writing an equation. In fact, whenever a problem says write the equation of the line, you're going to want to use point slope. Okay. Tell me out here, 10:30, right? Okay, so let's do enough of theory. Let's actually do a practice problem. Example of a problem. I'm going to give you 2 points. I'm going to say given point 1 is 2, 3, and point 2 is negative 4, 5. Write an equation of the line. So we have 2 points, write an equation of the line. So what's going to be the first thing we do writing an equation of the line?
Write down the formula.
Okay. Let's just before we do that, because no matter what formula I use, what's going to be in the formula? If I use slope intercept or point slope, I have to have slope. So first thing you have, whenever you have 2 points, is let's find the slope first of all. So that's the very first thing. Always know what the slope is. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to do the slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
2.
What'd you get?
2 over -6.
Okay, so I'm going to go
So -1.
5 minus 3 over negative 4 minus 2 It's going to be 3 over negative 6, so negative 1 half.
3. 5 minus 3.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe 1/3.
I reduced it correctly though.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
It would be 1/3.
Oh my gosh. This is not a good day. So 5 minus 3 is actually 2.
Mhm.
Thank you. So it's actually
Negative
negative 1/3. Woo. That part of the video will be cut. Thank you for catching that. All right, so negative 1/3 is my slope. Okay. Now let's come back to Ava. What am I going to? What formula am I going to use?
The one we just did,
The one you just did, which is called what?
the point slope form.
Point slope form. Because I have a point and I have a slope. It's because you need a point. Which one will we use? 2, 3, or negative 4, 5?
2, 3.
Oh, let's do both. Let's come over here and do point negative 4, 5. Okay, so then my slope is going to be negative 1/3. My slope is going to be negative 1/3. Let's just do both of them for fun. Okay. So y minus equals x minus. Over here, y minus x minus. Okay? So in the first one, what's going to be going for y?
Negative.
3. It's going to go in for slope.
The
1/3.
And for x?
2.
2.
Okay, over here I'm going to have
5.
5.
same slope. What's going to go in for x?
Negative 4.
So rather than writing x
This-
minus a negative 4,
X plus 4.
let's change it to x plus 4. Let's see. Let's make that smaller.
That was cool.
Let's take this. Well, you know, with the smartboard I can scroll. This one I can't scroll. So I have to do something else. Okay. What if it said, we did point slope, we're kind of done. What if the directions said, write this in slope intercept form? What would I do then?
Right.
How would I do that? Well, I've already got this equation. I don't really have to go back and find the y-intercept. How would I take this and put in slope intercept form? Any idea?
Y equals mx plus b.
Okay, so let's just put it into that form. Y equals mx plus b. So I have y minus 3 is going to equal, let's distribute. Negative 1/3 x. Negative and negative is a positive. 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. Now that side looks a lot like mx plus b. So how do I get y by itself?
Add 3.
So I'm going to have y is going to equal negative 1/3 x plus, what's 2/3 plus 3?
2 2/3. Or 3 and 2/3.
You could put 3 and 2/3. Or we could go 11/3, either way. Make it, I like it improper, but either way is fine.
So funny how math changes every year, because I remember in like fourth and fifth grade, they were like, never write an improper fraction, and now you're like, I like it improper.
I would rather, when you get to calculus, it's much easier to use improper fraction. Okay, what about this one? What if we use this point? Let's see if it works out the same. Y minus 5 equals, distribute, negative 1/3 x. Negative and positive minus 4/3. Once again, that looks an awful lot like y equals mx plus b.
Add 5.
Add 5 to both sides. So So y is going to be equal to negative 1/3 x. What is 4/3 plus 5?
19 thirds.
No.
15 plus 4.
It would be negative 4/3 plus 15 over 3. It's
Oh,
negative
because
4.
it's negative 11. Oh, it's the
And you
same
know
thing.
what? It better be the same thing.
Oh, it's because, okay.
It's the same equation, so it better be the same slope-intercept form. And by the way, a helpful hint on the test, if you're asked to do it, that's one way to check. Do it both ways to see if they're equal.
Oh, is that slope intercept?
And then that's slope-intercept.
The real question is if the calculators have this as an option.
Say it again.
I was making a joke saying the real question is if the calculators have this as an option to calculate.
Yes.
How did you get 15?
How did I get what?
15.
So I took 5 and made a common denominator. Because I have 3 up here, so 5 is the same thing as 15 over 3. So I have a common denominator, and then I can just do negative 4 plus it.
Yeah, because the 5's over the 1, so then you
Yeah.
you multiply by both.
I always forget
Thank you.
That's what confused me too at first. I forgot that 5's always over a 1.
that. Always. Okay. All right, one more problem you're going to see in Delta Math. It's going to give you general form, which really, slope-intercept is really good for graphing. Point slope is good when you're writing the equation. General form or standard form is good for nothing. It's good for nothing. 2x minus 3y.
Is this D or is this?
Yeah, this would be the
Roman numeral
last example.
4?
What is it?
Is this D or Roman numeral 4?
You could do D.
Okay.
2x minus 3y plus 5 equals 0. And it'll say something like, find the slope. Or it'll say, put in slope-intercept form. Or, let's do that. Let's put in the slope-intercept form. Okay. Well, whenever it says slope-intercept form, what's basically the concept? What are you doing?
Put it into y equals mx plus b.
Yeah, so you're just solving for y. Just get y by itself. Okay? So if I'm going to get y by itself, first thing I'm going to do is subtract 5. Okay? What's next?
Minus 2x.
I would subtract the 2x. So I'm going to get negative 3y, negative 2x minus 5. Okay. And then how do I get y by itself?
Divide by
Divide.
negative 3.
5 by negative 3. So they cancel. I get y equals, 2 negatives make a positive, so 2/3 x. 2 negatives make a positive plus 5/3. And in that case, what's your slope?
Hold on.
2/3.
2/3. You said hold on?
Yeah, hold
What you
on. I
got?
got a little confused. Okay, so
You're
we
fine.
subtracted negative 2x from both sides. Oh, okay, so hold on. Oh, because they're different terms. I was like, wait, 7. Okay.
Yep.
I'm getting it now. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you can't combine them because
Yeah, they're different terms.
Yep. In fact, we could see that right at the very beginning. When they put it in standard form, we have an x, we have a y, we have a constant. Nothing's the same. So you can't combine it. Okay. Questions on equations of lines? Anything we can go back over? Speak now, throw a little piece.
Wait, it does matter.